Thank you very much, and thank you to Antonis, the Waste region of Attica, and all the participants for inviting and welcoming us here. We were discussing a bit among the project partners of Rethinking Waste, and it's truly inspiring to see how passionate the discussion and the debate is about the pay-as-you-throw implementation, and it is very nice to see how the dialogue and the dialectics between national level laws, between implementation of local good practices is really active and alive, and that's why I'm very happy to open this second panel, which tries to enrich this discussion, and I really invite all of you to have this panel, which will be short for the time that we will need, the attention we will have before lunch, just as an opening step to strengthen international cooperation. So please try to look at the few inputs we will start to share through what we learned through the Rethinking Waste project and through the stories of partners of the Rethinking Waste project to open a discussion. So me, Teresa, Ruben, Michele, Matteo, and Simonetta, we are here. Let's keep the discussion active also into the informal times, and let's start building bridges, not to reinvent the wheel each time, but to start mutual learning processes on similar processes that went around Europe. So, very quick introduction, because it was mentioned before. ACR Plus is one of the co-organizers of this event as partner of the LIFE-REthinkWASTE project. Why we talk so much about international cooperation and EU level cooperation? ACR Plus works like this. We are an international network of local and regional authorities, cities, region, and public utility companies in more than 25 countries. And Rethinking Waste project, which is one of the projects that started the debate that prepared to today's event, is one of the key shape of the work we do. So we really work on building community of practices between technicians, political levels, other key stakeholders on specific topics linked with the waste prevention. We work mainly through sharing information, organizing capacity building events at EU and international level. We work somehow also on advocacy, because pay-as-you-throw at the end is about waste prevention. It was mentioned before, and for an international network like us, working on waste prevention, it means working on pay-as-you-throw, it also means to deliver to EU level institution a strong advocacy message on waste prevention. And we work with the perspective of local authorities. We are a network of networks. We really serve our members by the information shared and gathered to our participation in other EU platform. I'll try to be very quick on that. I don't want to bore you, but I strongly invite you to go on our website. The link will be at the end or in the brochure that you found at the table at the welcome desk, to have a look at the key results of our EU projects and technical publication. Antonis mentioned before that bio-waste is one of the key leverages in the hand of local authorities to promote waste prevention. One of our latest technical publication was a benchmark of food waste prevention activities in 11 cities that are part of ACR Plus network. So there are a lot of lessons to be learned there, a lot of knowledge to be shared, which is already made public available. So please go there. I will just skip, because it's the same call to action. So join our website and communication channels to look at the previous projects funded and their results. And let's move directly to Rethinking Waste project. So the key reason we are here, and the overarching project that is involving partners in 3 different countries to work on pilot testing of pay-as-you-throw and the no-as-you-throw integrated models. We will go very quickly through quick points. The first one will be a bit of context. So where are we moving and why it is important to, it was already mentioned before, so we won't spend so much on this, but let's focus on the fact that Europe is allowing to have a strong enabling framework for different countries. And we are moving since old and updated waste framework directives that are giving overall indication, overall targets, and strong incentives to member states, and then indirectly to local authorities to implement ways to reach those targets. But Europe is not made only on enabling frameworks or waste framework directives. Europe is made of a very differentiated context. So even the outreach of these targets is pretty much different in different countries, and efforts are necessary everywhere. So the average in 2020 for recycling, it was 48%, with significant differences. We are talking about the key RETHInkWASTE project partner, which is a LIFE-funded project. We go from 51.3% in Italy to 34.7% in Spain, of course with Germany as a best performer, which is the only country who already reached the EU recycling target. One other point to be mentioned about recycling targets and waste framework directive is that recycling rates are growing slowly, but municipal waste generation, it remains fairly stable. So the big question that is now on the table about targets of the waste framework directive is about, do they improve, do they move also towards prevention? Are they helping member states towards waste prevention, if at the end of the day the only target that counts is the target to be reached on different recycled fractions? Nevertheless, local entities, they don't have only EU or national level legislation. This was one of the first most inspiring outcome of the first panel discussion. Local entities, they have their own leverage to promote. And a crucial factor in the success of waste management is the participation of citizens. It was mentioned in different ways how articulation of pay-as-you-throw policies and local action plans needs to be well targeted, well communicated, and well taught in terms of local objectives. And how waste services, they risk to fail if users are not actively engaged into the outreach of shared and common objectives. So really, citizens should be the key target to be reached in a long chain of stakeholders and value chain on local waste management. So of course, that was already mentioned, nothing new to you, but one of the key objectives is really stimulate change in the behavior of citizens, motivating, convincing, and move them to responsibly environmental attitudes. And the two tools that were explored through the LIFE-REthinkWASTE project are pay-as-you-throw, so all dynamic tariff systems, integrated with no-as-you-throw models. We will hear more from Michele soon about these innovative models of citizens' engagement and information. Let's start just with a quick definition. What is no-as-you-throw? Is on-time information, is an innovative approach, is really trying to reduce municipal waste and increase separate collection through not only awareness raising, but real citizens' engagement. The basic idea is really that waste sorting habits can be improved by constant regular information and active dialogue. So with sharing knowledge and technology, communication technology, also social media, and meetings, constant meetings and constant dialogue with cities and key economic actors involved. I won't spend any more words about the definition of pay-as-you-throw. I think it was pretty much shared between participants this morning. But we can mention also that we have, as in Italian, we have a déjà vu feeling, because it's true that we have 1,000 municipalities already applying it. It's true that we have and we will see also in the RETHInkWASTE pilot municipalities, we were starting from good separate collection levels overall. But it's also true that we had a similar discourse ongoing years ago in Italy, when we had a national law imposing to all municipalities to move towards pilot waste, and starting these bottom-up and bottom-up and horizontal dialogue between institutions and other key stakeholders. About innovative governance of waste, the key message for the RETHINKWASTE project was about integrating pay-as-you-throw and know-as-you-throw tool, really to move towards strong behavioral, cultural levers and to keep citizens engaged in this transformation towards improved dynamic tariffication. And believing and being aware that without a strong citizen support, we risk, if it was already mentioned, we risk failure of local waste management policies. So, key objective of the projects, we are quickly going through them. They were about testing integrated know-as-you-throw and pay-as-you-throw approaches, and try to really integrate this paradigm into local waste management policies. We will hear some experience from Ancona on how this process took place as a side effect of the LIFE-REthinkWASTE project. We had many different partners in this project, municipalities and waste management company in Italy and in Spain in Catalonia region. We had local authorities, we had the national and European network of municipalities, and 2 technical experts that accompanied all partners to develop and monitor results of the project. Key action of the project, the first key action were based on facilitating this pilot testing in 4 municipalities, Bassano del Grappa and Varese and Bitetto in Italy, Bassano del Grappa and Varese northeast, Bitetto south Italy in Puglia, Sant Just Desvern in Catalonia. Municipalities with different backgrounds, so separated waste collection rates from 58% to 78% in Bitetto, which was already one of the best performers even before the starting of the project. Different collection methods. I will quickly go through these slides because we don't have time, but I strongly invite you to go to the RETHINKWASTE website. We left all the link and materials to go deep and to understand the stories of the pilot actions of the project. But this is just to share that pilot action of know-as-you-throw were applied in municipalities with very differentiated context and backgrounds. The know-as-you-throw testing started with different services of messaging to registered users. They were different groups in the 4 municipalities, so there were different types of messages like quizzes. Mostly the platform used was a WhatsApp platform. And a selected group of citizens, they were guided through quizzes, general messages or personalized messages to understand more and being involved in rewarding system and awareness about local waste collection, tariffs and collection models. The messages were referring to specific case of waste that often cause dubs in the user when sorting. So like we have spray cans in the example of these messages, or specific waste streams that are not super clear where they should have been conferred to. Personalized message could concern the number of deliveries, the comparison with deliveries made by similar families, and giving a bit of results and internal benchmarking to make people aware about their results compared to their neighbors, or the results of qualitative inspection made in building bins. So when inspector went to check on one building bins, citizens and residents of that building, they were informed that something good happened, or that the waste found in the residential bins, they weren't actually properly solved. What does it mean? That it wasn't only about messaging services, but it was also about eco-coaches, so finding person on the ground available to improve daily communication with citizens. They were mostly volunteering from local NGOs. This is also highlighting how pay-as-you-throw is not only a matter of technology, it's really a matter of community involvement at many different layers. About the key results, I will be very quick because I want to give room to some of the local experience for the project, but let's see that we would like to have a follow-up project. Now after almost 4 years of project activities, results have been monitored. We had a life cycle assessment also of key results in pilot areas, but one of the key results of this life cycle assessment is that in order to get solid data about cost effectiveness and impact of no-as-you-throw pilot action, we should reach at least 30 local pilot action monitored. That's another call to action for potential follow-up projects to join these pay-as-you-throw and no-as-you-throw integrated pilot models and try to move on with data collection and understanding the real impact. Let's move on from let's highlight a few other aspects. It was mentioned before, but what no-as-you-throw helps municipalities to data collection. Of course, you can have very specific, very detailed data collected about quality and quantity of waste produced and how they've been collected, and how it can support this data collection and this community engagement normative transition. That's another one. That's one of the key points that the Rethinking Waste project wanted to highlight. Just move to some key points that can guide also further discussion, not only this panel but also on the following one. So we tried to make already at the end of the project some SWOT analysis of key results. So we really saw how no-as-you-throw they are well accepted tool because they exploit common messaging channels. Citizens, they feel more informed, and normally when they feel more informed, they behave better. There's a high acceptance of this tool when they are well communicated, and it can be recognizable, a change in habits in waste production and delivery of waste. Especially because this is a bit an assumption, but we really strongly believe that there's a perceived co-responsibility, a perceived also growth in the sense of community linked with waste performances and environmental results and impact at the local level. And personalized message, they give positive individual feedback. This is a basic psychology, but it works. In terms of weakness, of course, cost effectiveness is one of the key things to be further indicated, because maintenance cost of messaging platforms and educators and eco-coaches, they are a commitment for local ecosystems. And it requires a high level of commitment to prepare effective messages and surveys. Still, the real effect needs to be further monitored. Now, this seems limited. It's a bit a negative message. Let's say that it needs to be further monitored. In terms of opportunities, no-as-you-throw is an effective way to alert citizens in case of introduction of new products and or new collection models. They get used to receive constant communication, and they get used to new adaptation or evolution or innovation in the waste collection model. It increases good habits. It really has an opportunity to increase them more. User may also report problems and have a direct dialogue with waste collection agencies, and they feel more responsible about the waste collection services. And it can be a valid tool to accompany the pay-as-you-throw approach. This is a bit what also Michele will dig deeper. About threats. One of the biggest threats is about cost effectiveness and objectives. So how do you avoid the risk of engaging people which are already sensitive to environmental topics or to good waste conferring performances? Another threat is, of course, the resistance to change, or the resistance to control and monitoring, especially if this is perceived as a tool to raise local taxes on waste management. So it has to be really well communicated in an engaging way. There's a risk on the long term of becoming boring, so you need to be creative with the no-as-you-throw approaches. You need to engage local HoReCa stakeholders, local shops, in order to have new rewarding systems or to have nice and motivating messages for the target citizens. It can become a channel for complaints, of course, even if we look at it also from the positive side, which like really a dialogical channel going also through social media with local authorities. Key lesson learned. So know as you throw can be complementary to pay as you throw, is not the further step. And in sometimes when cost effectiveness analysis for municipalities, they lead to a negative conclusion about the pay as you throw system that require higher investment, know as you throw can be a good complementary tool, opening the way and stimulating community engagement that can also maybe bring to higher results in case of implementation of pay-as-you-throw. The data collected by measuring waste deliveries can also be useful to send user personalized and updated messages. Participants in the pilot areas, they overall evaluated the know-as-you-throw approach very positively, and know-as-you-throw can motivate citizens toward the waste services. Those are the key 4 lessons learned. So I would like now to, I've been even too long, I would like to open to concrete experience and story from the project. So please go on the Rethinking Waste Europe project. If you didn't take it, there are a project brochure out on the desk to go further on results from pilot areas and other key tools developed to the project. Let me just mention that we also have within the Rethinking Waste project 2 deliverables which are self-assessment toolkit and a decision support system for municipalities that want to implement, design, and monitor local pay-as-you-throw system. And please don't hesitate to contact me, Ruben, or Michele if you are interested on checking out how these tools work. If you want to test them, we are available to help and support you on this process. Let's keep the dialogue active and let's move on to the next one.